Hey guys, Chad Hoover, Kayak Bassing TV. This week's Just the Tip, as you probably saw in the title, is a little bit different. It's not clickbait for the sake of clickbait. It's actually what I call this rig. And so I'm going to start it off by showing you this little package here. This is a 16th ounce tungsten. I'm a big fan of this stuff from Woo, mostly because their powder coat is the most durable on the market. And tungsten's expensive, and if you're going to spend the money on it, it needs to be durable. Not only is there's more durable, but they also have one of the best prices in the market on tungsten, so I'm a big fan of that. But what really turned me on to these guys is they have these tungsten beads. And so the way that this rig works is pretty simple. You take one of these tungsten beads, and today I'm going to be switching back between a 16th ounce and an 1/8 ounce piece of weight, okay? The way that this rig works is pretty simple. You're going to take your bead, your bullet weight. You're going to put it on the line first, just like that. After you put the bullet weight on there, you're going to take this tungsten bead and you're going to slide it on the line, okay? And then you're going to secure your hook with whatever your favorite knot is. It could be a Palomar, it can be an improved clinch. But because that bead is going to be banging against the knot, and I actually want it to be able to free float, I'm going to use an improved clinch so that the Palomar doesn't have the tag end facing forward and get caught in the bead. So I'm going to use an improved clinch, which I'll go ahead and go through it since I'm showing you. It's basically, I like to do 6 to 7 turns, progressively wrapping away from myself so that the knot doesn't get overlapped, which is what causes premature failures. Go back through the little hole, back through the loop that you've made, salivate on it. Maintain pressure on the tag end as you pull the knot down. That's one of the mistakes that people make in knot tying, is not to maintain pressure on the tag end. Pull that out of there, and then what I like to do is get in there pretty well as close to the end as I can get. I think people that leave really long tag ends don't have a lot of faith in their lure, in their knot, so you can tie that as close as you can. I like to flatten it with my teeth. It gives it a little bit more friction and staying power. Now, let me show you what I'm doing here. So for this rig, I am basically just using a shaky head worm. And what you want to do is something a little bit different than you normally do. You want to go in the nose and you want to come out to where your hook tip is still going to be sticking out. Just like that right there, okay? There's a reason for that, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now, I'm going to go ahead and rig this Texas rig, just like that. I'm going to come through there. I'm going to be fishing this over wood, so I like a round bend that doesn't have the little 90-degree drop like it does, or as long of a 90-degree drop like on a worm hook where that catches on the wood and this thing just slides over the top of wood real easy. I'm going to expose that and skin it. Now when I bring this together, basically what happens is your bead is against the hook shank, and so that thing clicks every time it taps that hook tip. You can still use this because the tungsten is going to click on the tungsten and you don't have to worry about it, but because they're clicking against each other, if the worm is past the end, it tends to kink up the nose of the worm and work it down anyway. So I like to have just the tip of the hook exposed, and that way when you hop this or pop this or work it, every time that tungsten falls and it drops, it makes a click. Now, a lot like a Carolina rig, or people say, hey Chad, that's nothing spectacular. Why don't you just put a bead on there, or a glass bead? That is good, and you could definitely do the same thing. The reason I came up with this is because tungsten is super hard, it's super sensitive, and it transmits a lot of feel. So when the fish taps that, I've got tungsten on tungsten contact directly through the line, and I have a super sensitive setup here. And a plastic bead or even a glass bead sometimes seems to act like an insulator and reduces some of the feel. But that tungsten on tungsten, again, the title of this video was not designed to be clickbait, but to tell you that there's really no better title for this rig here than click. Because what it does is every time that tungsten clicks, and then every time that bead clicks that hook shank, that's a click and a click, and that clicking is deadly for attracting bass, especially if you're just trying to get a limit, trying to get numbers. Not that it doesn't catch big fish, but if you want to catch a lot of fish, if you're in that mini fish phase of your career where you want to catch as many fish as you can, that little rig right there with 2 Woo tungsten beads, and as far as I know, they're the only manufacturer that makes an actual tungsten bead, but that tungsten on tungsten click, touching the hook shank, is phenomenal for attracting pre-spawn, post-spawn. It works on the bed, but man, I'll tell you what, when the fishing's tough and when the conditions are tough and you're fishing high pressured areas, that little bit of extra something is what makes this rig excel. We're going to get out on the water right now and catch some fish with this. I'm not going to show you the fish catching in this Just a Tip video. That's what makes it Just a Tip. But this week's Just a Tip clickbait was brought to you by Woo Tungsten. And here's the deal. Click on the little video box right here. I'm going to take you fishing with this lure, and I'm going to show you this lure on the water, show it catching some fish. And but yeah, you're going to have to go watch this other video, one of the 2 videos here on the side. It'll be called Clickbait in Action. So watch that video. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. And as always, thank you for all your support. Let's get this video to 250 likes, and I'll drop another Just a Tip video. And again, don't forget to leave a comment. And as always, thank all of you guys for all your support. I'll see you next time here on Kayak Bass and TV.